Guys, it's showing me as being really, really loud. I'm not sure what the hell's going on, but it's showing me as being super loud. I don't get what the F is going on. It's silent for you guys? I don't know what's going on. I'm back now. I don't know I don't know what's going on. To me on my side, it's showing me as like normal, except I went into the audio and someone had turned the mic volume really far down. I don't know who that was, but it wasn't me. I don't know what's going on. Like maybe because I connected the microphone in between, like I only do that right before we go live, so I'm not sure. But hey, welcome back. Welcome back to the 9:30 slot. Early show for our East Coast people, East Coast Central, Mountain Time people. Those midnight shows are pretty late at night. I know for a lot of people they're hard to get to, and I felt like this particular show might be handy to have a lot of input from a lot of people, considering we're going to talk about all the cases, and I want a lot of suggestions from people. I want to talk about the cases that affected you, but also me in 2024. And I have quite a few lined up that we're going to go back and have a look at. And if you were on my social medias this morning, you would have seen the one that I posted about already, which was the man who fell from the balloon back in March of this year. I don't know why that particular one stayed with me all year, but it really did. And I think for me, it was not that it was a true crime case as such, although it was a bit of a mystery as to why it happened, or if he pushed or if he was jumped at first. But I think for me, it was very hard because it was a beautiful morning here in Melbourne, like an absolute stunning morning, crystal clear sky, beautiful sunrise, and I kept thinking to myself, what would it take? Why would a man do this? Book a ticket on a balloon ride just to, end it all? And I tried to put myself in his shoes so many times, and I'm thankful that I don't have these type of intrusive thoughts in my life, and I am very thankful for that. But um, I struggled with it all year, and we still don't have very many answers, unfortunately. I was doing some research this morning to see if our agency down here, which is called CASAR, CASAR is sort of our aviation authority down here. They were one of the people who were brought in to do an investigation into it. I was going to see if they had released their findings, but not yet. Not yet. They are sort of like the FAA. They can take between a month and like 3 years to release whatever they've found. And because the air balloon didn't crash as such, I don't know how much we're going to hear. But I will play this for you from back then. Hold on. Let me show you. Let's go all the way back, okay? Let's go to 9 News. Back in 18th of March 2024, the start of the year.
A man has plunged to his death from a hot air balloon landing on a busy street in the heart of Preston. It happened in front of fellow passengers and stunned morning commuters. Stephanie Anderson reports.
With sweeping city views and clear skies, this was supposed to be a Monday morning adventure to remember, but it became the scene of a heartbreaking tragedy when a man fell from the basket of this hot air balloon, his body landing on a busy Preston street.
It's just so extreme that you can't believe it.
Several witnesses saw what happened and stopped to try to help, while locals woke to a power outage and police in their front yards.
If it was another 50 metres one way or the other way, that body could have fallen straight through the roof of your house.
The trip, operated by Balloon Man, took off from a reserve in Reservoir at 7 this morning. They'd been airborne for 10 minutes when the man fell. Calls to 000 confirmed his body had been found on Albert Street, while the pilot and his passengers safely touched down in Fairfield a short time later.
By the way, did anyone notice that they blurred that? That didn't used to be blurred. I've watched this video hundreds of times. Check back here. This image here, this never used to be blurred. They've gone back in editing and blurred this for some reason. Why? I don't know. But they've gone back and blurred that. Anyway, that's not anything to do with this story. For me, this was one of the weirdest ways to start 2024 and a strange story to cover. To this day, I don't have any answers for you. I don't really know much about the guy. I had a couple people contact me that say they knew him, but I can't verify a lot of it. All I can tell you is that for me, it's very sad that someone felt like they, at least it was a beautiful morning. That's the only silver lining I can come up with. It was a beautiful morning over our city. And if someone felt like that was the thing they needed to do, then at least it was a beautiful, beautiful trip. Elizabeth says, hello, Ping. Hello. Moonshadow said he fall or jump. He jumped, unfortunately. He could have killed someone else, very much so. This wouldn't be the first time that someone falling from a height has landed on a different person and hurt them. So Marlene says, remember the hot air balloon in the west of the US? Yeah, that wasn't one I was going to bring up, but since we're on the topic of hot air balloons, we did that one. I'll have to quickly look it up. I can't remember the date of it, but we've had a couple of hot air balloon ones. Let me look at that one. It was in Arizona. Is it California or Arizona? Hold on, hot air. Thought it was Mesa, Arizona. Yeah, it was. Actually, I don't know if it wasn't Mesa, it was Eloy. What? Oh, I haven't seen this yet, so Ping hasn't seen this. It says, after originally declaring that the pilot in January, so this happened before the one in Melbourne, a few months before. This is right at the start of the new year. Muffin. Oh, it's Rory. Hey, Rory. After originally declaring that the pilot in January's fatal hot air balloon crash in Arizona had elevated levels of ketamine in his system, it's always a good way to fly a hot air balloon with massive amounts of ketamine in your system. Sure. That's what I like to do. I like to take people up in a hot air balloon, K-hole, and then fall out of a hot air balloon? No, that doesn't sound great. They said an amended autopsy released Friday said the potent drug had actually been administered as part of life-saving efforts. Okay, well, thank God. At least he wasn't like recreationally doing it on the aircraft. I was like, that's a weird way to do it. It's like, on this Saturday, instead of going to a rave club, I want to go up in a hot air balloon, do a bunch of K, and then see what happens. It sounds like a very strange weekend. It says here the autopsy report said they initially noted that the ketamine was found in cardiac blood. So they obviously tried to use it as part of some sort of resuscitation efforts. They said the original report on Monday said they had not administered the drug, but that it was in his system at a ratio of more than 10 times greater than that was found in a small group of impaired drivers whose cases were used to study the drug's effects. It's noted that ketamine can cause dissociative hallucination, otherwise known as a K-hole. That drug, which some people use recreationally, is sometimes used on trauma patients by emergency services personnel as a sedative and analgesic. They said the amended version of release Friday said Air Evac services administered the ketamine at 9:14 a.m. on the day of the incident. How do I get them to come to me and administer that? Be like, I fell from something. Come here. Bring the helicopter and K. come to Ping. Here, let me show you. We should be able to give you a preliminary report. Yeah, let's head to News 4 Tucson. Actually, let's go to Fox 10 Phoenix with Jason Lum. No, it's not Jason Lum, but Justin Lum. Let's go here. Ping's got his names all wrong today. Yeah. This was the scene of it. I remember showing you this video back when it happened with the balloon being taken, carried, whatever they call it. To the scene of the, I never heard something either. Hey, stop playing music over our videos. All right, let me see if we can find a real update. That was cool though to see the balloon again. Yeah, let's go to W. I'm just trying to find a good update, something that's not crap. All right, let's go to AZ Family. This might be one we played back in the day because it comes up as purple for me.
The details are limited at this time. Still no word on what led up to this crash, but I can tell you that this tragedy is really rocking this close-knit community that has a large skydiving population. We want to show you some of that video from our Arizona's Family news chopper. NTSB, FAA, and Eloy police are all on scene investigating. What we know so far is that a Cameron Balloons A160 hot air balloon crashed in the desert north of Eloy around 7:45 this morning. The exact location just east of Sunshine Boulevard and Hannah Road. An investigator with NTSB says there was some kind of problem with the balloon's envelope. Eloy police tell us the balloon went up with 13 people on board. 8 were skydivers and 5 others were not equipped to jump. Police say the skydivers jumped and landed safely as planned, but then the balloon went down. We're told 1 person died on scene and 3 others died at the hospital. There is 1 survivor who, at last check, is in critical condition tonight.
You know, I'd like to see the statistics worldwide on people that get hurt in hot air balloons. I can't imagine it's crazy high, but they are influenced by localized weather conditions. So if all of a sudden you get a strong gust of wind or something come in, you're going to get dragged or it can topple over, especially on landing. We had one of these back in 2022 in Melbourne. We had some other people that were hurt in a hot air balloon crash. I think they survived, but there was a lot of injuries. So, Khaliza said hot air balloons just seem pretty dangerous. It's hard to control exactly where you end up. I think for the most part, the pilots do a pretty damn good job, and they sort of do it day in and day out. But it's like anything in aviation, weather plays a big role. And if you've ever looked at the FAA or CASA, one of their big learning points, which I can actually show you if I head, no, not the Smithsonian, that's not right. I can show it to you. One of their big learning points is weather-based education for pilots, and it's something they try and hammer home because the biggest variable you can have while you're in the air is not really the plane, because the planes normally are okay unless you have a mechanical issue, but sometimes those can be overcome with good training. It's weather, and I'll show you here. So this is CASA. This is their YouTube channel. This is the Civil Aviation Safety Authority in Australia. That's their YouTube page. But if we scroll down here, a lot of their things like weather and forecasting, mastering aviation weather forecasts. You know, another thing here about windsocks. If you just keep going down, there's heaps of them. They're all about weather things and learning different, like flying in the wet season and stuff like that. Here, let's go down a little further here. Wet season webinar. This is about flying in wet weather. Top tips for flying in wet season. They have other things on, you know, flying around the world. They had a webinar. I don't know if I can show you another one here for wet season flying, weather and forecasting, operational overviews, weather and forecasting. So a lot of their education is not so much on, they expect their pilots to already know the rules, but they do have things like fuel exhaustion, VFR, which is visual flight rules, alternatives, planning to survive, which means plan your trips out and like have backups. So if you're flying somewhere and you fly and then what you see in the sky in your aircraft is not the same as what you envisioned on the ground or through your planning, have a backup, have a different place to go, have a different airport, that type of thing. But yeah, they do a lot of work on weather related coverage. So it's like any aircraft. Let's see. Rachel says, I enjoy seeing the balloons. Oh, yeah, they were up in the city this morning, Saturday morning here. They were up this morning. I don't know if I can show you. I did save something for you. I was going to show you since we're doing this particular story. Let me see if I have it. I do. So I took a little screenshot. They were over the city this morning. Here's the little balloon. And they're flying, over the Melbourne city, over the Yarra River here, and then down near Caulfield. And they landed in the Caulfield Reserve. Is it a reserve or field? They landed in like a stadium thing here. And you can see they took this long trip. They launched over here. This is very similar to the trip the other one took, the one where the guy died. But they were up in the air this morning. There was like 2 or 3. And they were having a nice Saturday morning over Melbourne. Moonlight View says, I can't even do coconut without getting sick. Imagine using K. I don't think I make a joke because it's so it's such a serious topic, and I think the only way sometimes to overcome it is with a little bit of humor. But you got to remember that this is someone's loved one that didn't come home from a balloon ride. And it's something we all think, oh, balloon ride? Yeah, I'll see him at 2:00. So I don't want people to get the wrong idea. Rachel says, James Avery, it's also used for mental health and field pain management. Ketamine? Yeah, in Australia, it's actually used mostly in some surgical. They may use it in road trauma, but I'm not sure. But I know they use it in some surgery situations. But the big one it's used for is in animals, right? Yeah, because back in the early 2000s, there was a spate of break-ins at veterinary clinics that people were stealing ketamine. I'm not kidding. There was a spate of break-ins across Melbourne of people breaking into like horse stables or vets to take bottles of ketamine from different animal treatment places. So that's look, this is not my number one as such, but it is the one that I remember the most about this city, at least to start the year. We've had heaps. Isla's death only happened a couple months ago, and I was going to include that in my top 10, but I felt like people would be like, Ping, you've got revisionist thinking because it only happened only a couple of months ago. So I tried to find some more cases that were more local. Not local, earlier in the year. Ping, your brain's got to work properly. Rachel says, yeah, it's very safe for animals for surgery. Yeah, they often use it. It was used as a horse tranquilizer. That's what it used to be called, horse trank. In the US, it's mostly used for Matthew Perry. That's not funny. Stop. I throw something at you. That was a good joke, but it's I miss that guy a lot. He formed a lot of my early humor. I watched a lot of Friends, and Matthew Perry's stage humor is one that I don't know, it was very formational for me in my early years. I loved him on Friends. I thought he was hilarious. It was funny, but it seems a bit cruel considering he's not been gone that long. Moonlight View says, can't even do coconut. Yeah, you can't do coconut. Stop doing coconut. Tell all the kids out there, stay in school. Don't do coconut. I was looking in the chat for some suggestions of what you all thought were the biggest cases of this year. And I'm just trying to have a look if we got any suggestions. I saw Daybell a couple of times. Daybell. You guys really think? Because Daybell, that was this year, but it was in 2023 too. Let me see if there's any others. A lot of Daybell. Some people said the Frozen Chiefs fan story from earlier in 2024, which really still doesn't have a resolution. Danny Mitchell said Crumbly parents conviction. Yeah, I think that is very interesting. The Chiefs fan story is very sad. It's not it's a very hard case, and the fact that they still haven't either pressed charges or released like a final report. It's almost a year later. These people have been, gone for almost 12 months, and they still can't make up their mind. It's a bit very sad for their families. Rachel said, if I remember right, you never got an ID on the man. No, I never got an ID. I had some people contact me who knew him but wouldn't give me the name. I didn't ask them for it, but they wouldn't supply the name. They just kind of said, hey, I knew that guy. Yeah, he was a nice guy, but he had some. Anyway, I don't want to go into it because I don't want to. I don't want to burn someone's memory when I can't verify the information that they gave me, and I don't want to tell it to you because I can't verify it. And the two people who contacted me both had different things to say about the person. So I sort of feel like not that they're in conflict, but they don't tell the same story. Therefore, I can't verify it. But yeah, it's very sad. James Avery said it was funny. Perry was a sad case, but he had many chances. Yeah, I feel like he had some warning signs a few years ago about his drug use, where he almost died a couple of times. It's very sad. Aaron Patterson. I think Aaron Patterson's case in 2024 has been a bit of a letdown. I think we were all hoping to go to trial before the end of 2024. And now that we're going to trial early in 2025, at least it's not that far away anymore. But her case has been very, while there has been updates and we've now moved to the Supreme Court, it's been stationary for over 10 months. I mean, there has been procedural things done in court, but not really a ton of anything I can bring to you that said it's interesting. But we are going to trial April, or is it April or March? I'm getting confused between two cases now. It's early 2025, and we'll be there. We're going to be there at Aaron Patterson's trial in a few months' time. We are heavily in planning right now to head out there to the court, this tiny little court in Eastern Victoria. It should be fun. It should be fun. I've heard that there's 2 Netflix crews coming out to do a documentary on it as well. So that'll be interesting to see the film crews out there if that rumor is true. Betty C says Perry had substance abuse issues. It's a hard road. I agree. Sebastian Rogers missing same day as Madeline Soto. Actually, I think if you wanted the case that I think dominated this year, it would have to be the Madeline Soto investigation, or at least the second part of it with the document releases. For many months throughout this year, that has been the driving force in true crime. It has been the document drops or whatever by various channels, and the details we found out about. I'm still personally of the opinion that there should be more charges, and I would like to know more of why there is not, but that's just my personal opinion. Cavalcante being apprehended by a dog. We might do that one in a second. That was a good one. Madeline Soto. Yeah, I see a lot of people saying Madeline Soto. I've drawn a blank regarding cases this year. Let me take you back to one that was earlier this year, and then we'll do a little bit on Madeline Soto. Let me take you back to Manchester earlier this year, and it was a case we followed for a few weeks, and we finally got an answer, and that was the torso case in Manchester. We did that about 8 months ago, and we finally found out a lot more information of who this particular person was and how they ended up in this reserve in Manchester. It was in Salford. So let me grab that video for you. I don't know if I was one of the only channels that covered this, but I found this fascinating. The UK has very interesting, cases from time to time. So this came up later, and I don't know if we ever end up covering it, but this was in July, a few months later. They say 2 men deny murder of man whose torso was found by a passerby in Salford. Police found body parts at 16 locations as they investigated the death of a 67-year-old. The trial is expected to be in March next year. Wow, March is going to be a busy year for us. We've got trials in March and April. I have 4 already booked in that we're going to do next year. It's cases that we followed throughout this year. It's going to be a very busy early 2025. So the guy they actually ended up finding, his name was Stuart Everett, and he was wrapped in clear plastic and was found by someone walking by in the Kersaldale wetlands on the 4th of April 2024. So very early on this year. They said more remains were found at other sites after police searched 16 separate locations. They charged a 68-year-old man with 2 charges of murder and manslaughter at Manchester Crown Court on Thursday. And they, in court, said, no, not guilty. The other person, Marson, he's 42, pleaded, I plead not guilty. Well, we'll see. We'll see about that at trial. They're saying a Polish interpreter had to work for them at the trial, not trial, at court. So let me find a bit more on Stuart Everett. I think it's an awful case. I can't imagine what it would have to be like for, you to find a loved one on the news and be like, oh, we know that guy. We know who that is. Oh, that's a friend of ours, right? I find that disturbing. I mean, I know that's the same for every true crime case, but let me try and take you. There was not a lot of, here we go. Let's go to Sky News, the 7th of April, 2024.
To Greater Manchester now, and a murder investigation is underway after human remains were found wrapped in plastic at a nature reserve in Salford. We can go straight to Sky's Becky Cottrell, who is at the scene in Salford for us this lunchtime. Becky, tell us what the police are saying.
Well, following that discovery yesterday by a member of the public who found what we understand to be a human torso in a plastic bag, the police have now said that after carrying out forensic examinations, they believe the victim is a man, likely over 40, and that he would have been dead for no more than a matter of days. We understand that they haven't found anything else in the area other than what was in that plastic bag. And now, of course, they will be carrying out further tests, including DNA tests, to try and establish who this individual is so that they can inform his loved ones. They also said that based on what they had found, it was impossible that the victim would have survived whatever happened to him. This is a serious incident that is being investigated by detectives from the major incident team. The police are still here, still searching the area, and we understand that the dog unit has been involved. They say that no arrests have been made so far, but they are urging anyone who was in the area and might have seen something suspicious over the past few days to get.
And this wasn't the only body to be found in a park in the UK. Around the same time, we saw I think 4 others between April and the summer in Europe, which is in June, July, August. I think so anyway. We saw a whole bunch of others, especially closer to London. Very, very sad, but we'll be keeping an eye on this trial in 2025, and we'll see if we can get some justice for Stuart Everett. I see some good suggestions in the chat. Wade Wilson. We didn't do a ton on Wade Wilson, but it was a pivotal case this year. Richard Allen and Sarah Boone. My friend Excited Utterance, Hella did a bunch on Sarah Boone this year. We didn't do a ton on it, but it was an interesting case. I saw some others. Long Island serial killer. I am just waiting for trial. I am waiting for trial. As soon as we get to that, I will be doing round the clock coverage. It is one of the most fascinating cases I think I've ever looked at in true crime, and the more information that comes out, the more crazy it seems to get. Like when they found that document on his computer which detailed like a to-do list about what he should do next time to do it better, so he can have more playtime with his victim. I think that is uh, frightening. Frightening what he did to those women. When you think about it now, I'll give you an example. When the Long Island serial killer case first happened, in my head, it was sort of like, oh, these women probably found a John and they were killed during sex or something, and then he dumped their bodies, very typical type of prostitute murder. That's not what it seems like anymore. It seems like he actually tied these women up and tortured them for periods of time. How long? Don't know. But in that document, he specifies how if you tie them up and minimize the noise, very Dexter like, if you minimize the noise, you can play with your victim a lot longer. And I think that is, he is chilling. Literally, he is very, very frightening of a man who has obviously no respect for women and treats them like trash and a plaything. Jojo says that man is an animal. I agree. I think it dates back very far. I think we haven't heard the whole story about him either. I think we know some of it, but I don't believe that victim in 1996. I don't believe that's his first victim. I don't know who the original one was, but there are some candidate cases that date back to the 80s. So we'll see, but I reckon there's more to come on him. Yeah, I will be covering it. As soon as we get to trial, I will be doing it every day. Yeah, he is frightening. No, they didn't, did they? Did I somehow not see this? Hold on. Did they? Oh, they did. A seventh killing. Who is it? Oh, it's Valerie Mack. Yeah, Valerie Mack's case. They've been working on that for ages. That's not a surprise. I knew they had been trying to get that done for over a year, no, probably years. But since his arrest, they've been trying to work on this to get it done. I think the more surprising one, Valerie Mack deserves a lot of airtime, but I think the more surprising one is the one that no one had connected to him and was connected to a different killer. Let me just grab that. I don't know why we didn't end up covering that. I was away, right? Was I away with the computer issues at the time? Probably. Rex Hillman charged. Sorry, I just want to find her correct name because Ping is got too many cases rolling around his head right now. All right. Apparently, I am not doing so well. Please identify. All right, here we go. Let me go to his Wikipedia and see if I can dig it out. It was the oldest one, the one that dates him back to the 90s. Not the Gilgo 4. She's not part of that. Additional victims. Valerie Mack is an additional victim. Jessica Taylor. Maybe we'll get something on that. Karen Vergata. That'll be interesting. Peaches. No. Sandra Costilla. That's it. Sandra Costilla. Yeah, Sandra's case to me is possibly one of the most interesting of his victims, although I'm interested in all of them. But I think the fact that for a long time they thought it was connected to a completely different guy, it shows you that these killers can operate in the same area and have a similar MO, and it's very hard to tell them apart unless you get this advanced science that can actually separate, this is DNA from here or here. You can't just tell from the surface. But we will definitely be covering more on Lisk as we go along. Jojo says his size makes him scary. A reporter said his knuckle looked like hooves. He is a big guy, and one of the things I think they missed early on was the roommate gave a description of that John very early on in the investigation. Super early on, he was like, hey, there was this guy, he's like 6'5", weighs like 300 pounds. Dude's huge. And they were just like, oh, yeah, great tip. Cool, thanks for that. And they just left it there for years. I don't know about other states, but I definitely think there's more in and around the island. Lisk reminds me of an ogre. I don't think that's very kind. I don't believe he deserves any kindness either. But I think when we start to get to name calling of serial killers, I don't think it doesn't give the victims any justice as such. It just sort of does make a mockery of them. But I think we can smash this guy with facts and his own handiwork rather than comment on his appearance, if that makes sense. But that is the description a lot of women gave about him, was he is a very unattractive man, a very unattractive dude. Here he is. I would like to see the photos from like his yearbook. I think we did get one, didn't we? From when he was in high school. By the way, who cut his hair in prison? Like, who the F? I like how they're just like, bro, you can't have a normal haircut, so we're going to give you the 25-year-old haircut. Can't have a 56-year-old man's haircut. We only know how to do cool haircuts here, so we're going to try give it to you. Here you go, watch this. He's got the undercut and the fade on the back here. I find that funny. The prison barber, right. The prison barber's like, I don't know how to work with this type of old man hair. I only know how to do young people haircuts. I only know how to do the cool ones. So you get in some sort of, sharp fade on and undercut on your hair. That's it. That's all you're getting. He's a Frankenstein without the bolt. He is a big dude. How tall is he supposed to be? 6'5", right? Height. I'm surprised they didn't release like a thing from when he was in prison. I like how he has his own Internet Movie Database page. What? When did this pop up? Oh, it's just... okay. What the hell? I don't know when that popped up, but I don't have a height for him. That's odd. Yeah, he's a tall guy either way. Here's the high school photo. Here's that high school photo of Rex Hillman. There you go. Does he look that different to his older self? You tell me, Looks like Three Stooges here, a little bit. Yeah, good to see you guys. Did I say hello to everyone? I didn't, did I? Hello, everyone. Khaliza said, also his vehicle was described in detail about the same time they had a detailed physical description. Seems like Ellie just weren't motivated because the victims were sex workers. 100%. I think if you've ever watched Dexter, by the way, whoever gave me that recommendation the other night, I hate you so much. I hate you because my entire off time has been watching Dexter episodes. I've never watched it before. And now I'm hooked on it. I've been watching that new one, Dexter Original Sin. Love it. It's so good. I don't know the rest of the story because I haven't watched the series that was on for like 15 years. But the one they're doing on Showtime right now is really, really good. Frankenstein. Don't call him Frankenstein because you love Frankenstein. Hey, Lindy, how are you? The original investigators, I don't believe they were all corrupt. There was some good cops that worked on that in that force in Suffolk County PD, but there were a lot of people who turned a blind eye to, if you watch Dexter, what they call non-human involved, and that's what I reckon they considered those victims. They just considered them less than human. And they're like, oh, it's not an important case. This ain't no white kid from, the $1 million area that went missing. And they were just like, some whores that went missing on the island. Who cares? But their lives have meaning and they deserve justice for what happened to them. All of them, including Shannon Gilbert. What happened to her, greatly debated. I don't really have an opinion because I've been wrong like several times on her case, but I'll just say that until we get a smoking gun of either way on Shannon Gilbert, it'll forever be speculated on by people whether she died accidentally or whether there was someone involved in her death. I think until that evidence comes out, it'll be the same for years. Rachel said Dexter is a long series but very good. Original Sin is very, very good. I love the younger years, the high school, sort of leaving high school, going into the police department. Emily Narv said, I almost started that. It's really good. It's really good. Did they ever link the transgender to him? So not that I know of, but I heard they're still working on it. His name is something Bear. Hold on. I'll find it for you. So Sugar Bear, his name is Andre Isaac. He's a biological male. He had been associated with the Long Island serial killer. The other one is Asian Doe. Asian Doe, they did that new release a few months ago of the, I don't know, what would you call it? Like better technology sketches of who Asian Doe might be. They did it with sort of male characteristics of like short hair, and then they did one that was like a more feminine appearance depending on how they were presenting themselves at the time, maybe how people remember. But I think we did a story where it basically said that call for action, they were hoping to get a lot more leads on it. They got nothing. They got basically no new information that they were hoping to get. Images of, yeah, this one here. These images, which were amazingly done. You can see the computer differences compared to the original. So they're the new images, but I did read an update that basically said it didn't amount to anything, which is a shame, a real shame. It'd be nice to give that person their identity back. Yeah, maybe they can use, I don't know if they have used I don't know if they have used Othram and they haven't been able to get. So Peaches, I know they used genetic genealogy, but they got to a roadblock, and I don't know if they ever passed it, but they got to, I think, her local, her family's local area, and then they sort of ran into a roadblock, and they were asking people in the area, do you remember this family? Can you contact us if you have more information on their family tree and who they were? But I don't know if that ever went any further. So I don't know if they ever did that with Asian Doe either. But it is sad that we can't give that person their identity. Moonshadow, hey, how are you? Don't forget those two beautiful women killed in the Texas Panhandle by evil grandma and her friends. I don't know. I don't think we could ever forget those two women. Probably one of the most shocking cases of cruelty and indifference I think we may have read about all year. Maybe beside Madeline Soto, that poor little girl. Oh my god. Yeah, yes. So yes, it's called Ping2, P2 for short. She contacted me a couple of weeks ago, a few weeks ago, before I went away, and she was saying, she's like, look at my new fish tank. She's like, I got a new fish tank for a new beta fish. Is she calling me a beta? Is she saying I'm not an alpha male? I'm concerned about this title. Yeah, it's funny. It's a funny tradition. She killed the first one. I don't know how the first one died, but it died. Ping 1 died in the fish tank. Bees Are Live, thanks for a great year, Ping. Thank you to everyone. I don't think I could have done this without the wonderful support of the people. People have come and gone. People have tuned in for some cases, tuned out for a while, come back when there's a case that they're interested in, and it's been really nice to see them pop up, in different places throughout the year. Some people's, their lives have changed. I've had so many emails from people telling me, hey Ping, I can't tune in anymore. I do watch on replay. X, Y, and Z happened in my life. I'm not giving any examples to keep people's privacy, but they're like, my life has taken a major turn, and either I got a new job or something, happened in my life and I can't tune in anymore because, different reasons. I've heard some really beautiful stories this year from people, and I've heard some absolutely heartbreaking personal tragedies from people that, I can't say on the channel because they've asked for their privacy, but they just wanted to explain why they're not around anymore. I don't know how they got through the year. Some of the stories that people have sent to me are earth shattering. Earth shattering. Like, I mean, I don't want to give any examples, but just think of some of like the worst things that could happen in your life. And I think I've had a story about each one sent to me by a viewer who said that's why they're not around anymore. And or they're not around as much. So, it's very sad. Lynn D says, I saw a short video of Ping 2 today. He's beautiful. I know. He's modeled after me, obviously. Marlene Clausen said, hit the like button. Yeah, sub if you're already not. I would appreciate it. Hey, Shasta. I watch, just can't chat much. You don't have to. Rachel said, I'm here every night, only missed a few shows. Very grateful for Ping's content and coverage. I'm very appreciated by everyone who visits the channel day in and day out. Did many mention me by name? Like now or throughout the year? I'm confused. Yeah, I saw the video pop up before I went live called Happy Fish. I haven't had a look at it yet. I will. Moon Shadow says, I'm looking for orbs and drones here. That is a very strange story. I think, yeah, if we want to change to a different topic, I think it's this one. This is some of the details out of this, throwing them in a fridge on a friend's property, and these people were dumb as rocks too. I don't know if they didn't care they were going to get caught or thought they were above the law and that no one would come looking for these two women. I say that they were just so full of their own gas that they just thought, oh, we run this town and ain't no one ever going to come look at this property. Ridiculous. And I can't wait to see them sweat under cross-examination at trial because they deserve it so much. And that brave daughter, the brave daughter who basically cracked that case wide open and gave the authorities what she knew about what happened. She is a very I would say very scared individual, and I hope she's getting a lot of support from her family and the police and stuff, but very brave too. Imagine that. Imagine having to report on loved ones and the murder they have committed. I don't know what that would be like at her age. I really don't. Let's do that. Yeah. Let's do that. All right, let's go here. This is probably one of I would say it's probably one of the biggest cases of this year outside of Madeline Soto. It would have to be Gillian Kelly and Veronica Butler, and their death by this group of God's misfits is just unexplainable. It really is, and it seems to be all over children. It seems to be all over the grandchildren and control. It's definitely a case of control, and when they felt like they were losing that control, they decided to try and eliminate the problem. And they took a very innocent they're both innocent, but they took this other woman as well, who had nothing to do with it. She was literally there as a witness and a safety blanket. And they're like, oh yeah, just kill her too. You have to be 100% whacked out of your mind to be able to just be like, oh yeah, let's just kill this woman too. They don't deserve prison. That's not what they deserve. They deserve to get what they gave. And Ping's very much of the opinion, and I speak about myself in the third person, they deserve a 22 to the head like they did to these two. I don't see any other fit punishment. I just put them in a fridge, and then bury them and then fire some shots through the fridge with a 50 cal. I don't care what you do, but they don't deserve to spend their life in prison. They deserve to be killed. I hope there's death penalty on this, because I don't wish for death penalty on many cases, but when you're so horrific and you take innocent people and it's so egregious, I don't know what else there is for you. Rachel said, I'm very disappointed that there's not cameras in the courtroom. Yeah, that's a shame, and I wish they would stop doing that. But we'll get the coverage the way we can. They buried them alive. Yeah, didn't they say they found blood at the scene though as well? Either way, bury them, shoot them, I don't really care. Just get rid of them. 2 already pled out. That's a shame. That's a shame. We'll see what happens. They don't deserve life in prison. They really don't. You join into a venture like that, and you know what's going on. I don't think anyone in this entire set here has any deniable, like they don't have any plausible deniability. Does anyone in the audience think that they have any sort of plausible deniability to be like, oh yeah, I thought they were just burying a fridge and it was so they could, get rid of that calf that died on the farm? No, I don't think anyone has that explanation. Like they all bought into the idea that this was some sort of covert operation, and I think they're all equally as guilty as each other, although it's up to court. We'll see. That's right, the hammer. Yeah, Web Sleuth is on in a few more minutes. She's doing John Bonet. I'm going to keep going. I won't be ending. I will stay here. We're going to keep going with cases from 2024. If you want to go watch Trish, that's fine. I will not be upset. And yeah, if you want to go talk about John Bonet, that's great. If not, we're going to stay here. We're going to keep going through cases of 2024 for another half an hour, something like that. I already told Trish I was doing this. We don't normally cross over our live streams like that. We don't normally do that, but I'm a little stuck for a time tonight. They are all guilty, 100%, my friend Betty C. Rachel said they were so stupid as well, right? They thought they were this criminal masterminds, and they put DNA evidence in with the bodies. They're like, yeah, ain't no one ever going to find these bodies. Let's just leave evidence with the bodies. You have to be smoking crack. You really do. You have to be high as a kite to be like, let me leave DNA evidence that can track me back to this murder. Like, you're just like, yeah, just throw in the gloves. Sure, no worries. Just let's put evidence there. Like, you have to be so full of your own gas to be like okay with that. No more John Bonet for me right now. That's sort of why I told Trish I thought it would be okay if I kept going, because I know not everyone likes John Bonet, and the people who do can go hang out with Trish and watch and talk about. I saw it in the paper. It's like John Ramsey is like, we got over 100 tips since the documentary came out. Really? Are you sure about that? Are you just making up numbers again, old man? Like, what are you doing? Tharvi says, I think Patsy and John covered for Burke. I have no emotional connection to the JVR case, like not even 1%. I don't really care. I care for the little girl. I care that she deserves justice for whatever happened to her. But I don't care if it was a Secret Santa that broke in and killed her, or I don't care if it was her brother. I don't care if it's her father. I don't really care. I just care that they eventually solve the case and close it. I just want them to close the case out. They're saying that apparently, well, John Ramsey's saying that they have a meeting in January with the chief of police and that they want to solve it. So we'll see. Marlon Clausen said, remember the 6 people they found in the desert in California? That was a very interesting case. I think it ended up being connected to a drug operation, if I remembering correctly. Yes. Yeah, no discussion on John Bonet here. We're not doing that. Do you know what another one out of California is very strange? I don't think we ever found out what was with that burning body in San Bernardino. Do you remember we had that? It was a few months ago. I think it was in July. They found a burning body in San Bernardino County. Never heard an update since. Never heard like who it is, why they were burning, who put them there. Just they had a press thing saying, "Oh yeah, we found a burning body," and then nothing. Like not even one word. There's been a few cases like that this year. The one in Texas, the 3 people found murdered inside of their home in Cyprus, and to this day there is no update. There's no CCTV. There's no person of interest that publicly is known. There's no appeal for information. Just, yeah, 3 people murdered in their home and their home set on fire. No worries. You can do that in our county HCSO. We like when that happens. Don't know. Yeah, we can talk about that one. Tharvey says, I believe Burke needs to be honest. How can one go 28 years with a lie? Ask him. Oh, wait, he'll probably sue you. Don't ask him. I Hate Morning says, I wonder how many tips we checked the family. I don't know. Probably a lot of them. Definitely some cold cases just this year. I 100% agree. Some cold cases. Right. When they found that it was a mother, her son, and the son's girlfriend, they said, "Oh, we know who this is. We have video evidence that the car was moved and that the killer went over the back fence." All right, it's now freaking New Year's Eve or New Year's weekend. Where is the killer? Have you arrested someone that you haven't told us about? Are you secretly holding them in Guantanamo Bay? Like, where are they? Are you just letting them? Are you just like pranking them? You're like, we're going to let them get to 2025, like the first day in 2025, and then we're going to arrest them because it'd be really funny. And like, HCSO thinks that's hilarious. Like, is that what's going on? I mean, I don't know. Emily Knob said it's weird how that happens in some cases. We've definitely had a few this year that has happened with 100%. Let's go back to the 6 bodies found in the desert in California. Pretty sure that ended up being a drug operation, but I will double check. I think it was a marijuana thing, if I'm correct. January 23rd, 2024, so the beginning of the year, a remote dirt crossroads of Highway 395, about 90 miles northeast of Los Angeles. They say all the men, there was Baldomir, Franklin, Kevin, and a 45-year-old man whose name is being withheld. All the victims died of gunshot wounds. 4 of them had severe burns to their bodies. 5 men have been arrested and held without bail. And they say investigators believe the dispute was related to an illicit marijuana production operation. So that is exactly what it was. 6 bodies. Let's go all the way back to January 25th. And let's watch that first report that came out about it.
6 people have been found dead in a remote desert area of California. The bodies were found near San Bernardino County and the community of El Mirage. Authorities say that a massive investigation is now underway, and our Will Reeve is in California this hour following the developing details. So, Will, what more do we know about the investigation at this point?
Well, good afternoon, Kira. This happened about 90 miles northeast of Los Angeles in a desolate area, and the aerial footage shows a grisly scene. 2 vehicles parked near these bodies, the windows blown out. 5 bodies found last night with gunshot wounds, a 6th discovered this morning. Currently, the FBI and ATF are not investigating, but local San Bernardino County authorities are investigating this as a homicide. As yet, it is unclear who these people were or why they were killed, but certainly a grim scene that will be investigated. Kira.
Some of the video and photos I showed you from this particular case were so gruesome. I'm not even sure how we were allowed to keep them on YouTube, but there was like gunshots and blood splatter, and it was the original scene photos were quite graphic. Yeah, you live shady, you die shady. That's true. Hey, Sienna. I just saw you're on here. Yeah, we came on a little bit early for our East Coast people to be able to hang out with us. Very sad case. I can't imagine being the person who came across that particular scene and would have been looking around going, the hell is going on here? Apparently, one of them had tried to run from his attackers and was shot at a distance. The people actually shot him as he was running away and then tried to burn his body. It was a very severe gang sort of illicit murder. It is a bizarre sight. I agree. Yeah, I don't know what's going on in the Cyprus investigation. Yeah, so there is a massive underground marijuana operation in California. While it may be legal, not every place you see on the main street that sells marijuana is a licensed venue. Not There's a lot of pop-up shops in California that sell illegally grown marijuana as real. It's counterfeit, not counterfeit, but it's just black market. It's been going on for years. By the time the authorities figure it out that these shops are not licensed, they just Phoenix, and overnight they open up in a different location in a different name with a different owner, and they're back to selling again. And the fines they get, $200,000. It's not a problem if you're moving pounds of weed every day. Not a problem. Pay the fine. Phoenix the company. Open up a new one next week in a different location and keep rolling. This has been going on in California since legalization, it may be even before. There are even places you can go and buy 10-pound bags from people and, all black market. Just bring cash. You can buy whatever you need. They want the tax dollars. Well, not if you're selling illegally. Nanalana says, what about the case where the two women were picking up a child for a birthday party and they were murdered? Yeah, we did that. Isn't that Veronica, Jillian Kelly and Veronica? We did that one, yeah. They'll pick up the child for the birthday party. You may have missed it. We did it just before. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I if they let them plead out on that case, if they let all 6 of them plead out, or 6 or 8 or whatever it is, if they let them all plead and get plea deals, I'll be so mad. I think the family should be mad too. Should hold them, hold their feet to the coals. They don't deserve anything. Nothing. You already have the bodies. Why the hell would you plea deal them? For what reason? There's no reason. You already recovered the remains. You don't need nothing from them. You don't need their evidence. You already have it. There's no need to plea deal them. Absolutely hold their nuts to the fire and just keep stacking charges and take them to court, give your evidence, and hope the jury sees it the same way and let them get what they get. Don't plea deal them. Sorry, it makes me mad. It makes me really mad when they plea deal people like that. It's like they don't deserve it. Do you think they were like, oh, when they were killing these 2 women, they were like, they're just going to give us a plea deal. Let's do some more gruesome crap to these people. No, it's just ridiculous. Can't plea deal everyone. Some people got to be held accountable for their gruesome crimes. Otherwise, every time someone kills someone, they're going to be like, what time do I meet with the DA for my plea deal? Can't be doing that. Some people got to be held to the punishment that is understated in our laws. So our law's a little bit different here in Australia. Yours a little bit different over there. Whatever your maximum penalty is, that's what you get for murdering people. It's one of the ultimate sins of humanity. The 2 that I think of is, it's obviously SA, in that it somewhere is DV as well, and murdering people. It's the ultimate sin against another human. So I don't get how you can do that. I hear Morning says, I get very frustrated with how many plea deals are being done. They get out and reoffend because the counties are cheap. The counties are cheap. They don't want to put on a full court trial because they want it done over and done. They don't want a 12-week trial. They don't want the cost associated. They don't want the security risk. They don't want this and that. They want to save that money. So they plea it out so that the county saves $500,000, $200,000, that type of thing. It's ridiculous. They work for the people. Remember that. Always remember that. They work for the community. You tell them what to do, not the other way around. Like in that scenario, they are, especially in America, a lot of them are voted in from the public in your voting rights or whatever. But at the same time, they are city workers. They work for the community. It's ridiculous. Yes, jury trials are expensive, but I don't think we should trade away justice for money. Then you have to look at, what is a DP worth? What is a guilty verdict worth? What is that cost balance between the two? And things like that. It's a ethics argument. Kaliza says political plea deals are just not ethical. People who haven't committed crimes plea because they basically don't have a choice. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at different levels of crimes, there are a lot of people who accept plea deals to either just end their case and know their future, and then they can get out or whatever. I'm just saying in high-profile murder trials, I don't think it's appropriate. I mean, you look at if you look at the murder trial out for the Delphi, how much did that cost? It was like $2,000 per resident in the area, $2,000 per household or something. That's a lot of money. Kaliza, yeah. All right. What else do we have? Any other? Billy Wagner. Was that this year? Billy Wagner. Did he go to trial this year? Interesting. Just a month ago, Billy Wagner will not face the DP, not the fun one, the one where you die, in 2016 in the Pike County. Pike County, I don't sort of classify as 2024, but it is a crazy case. I actually think Pike County is very similar to the Veronica and Jillian case. I think it involves a matriarch that wanted control over her family, and I think they have a lot of similarities between the two, and both heinous crimes. Pike County, I don't know how it's got one of the most gruesome details I think I've ever heard in a crime scene description. Finding a baby still nursing on the mother, and they put the baby there so the baby wouldn't die. I think that is, I don't know, one of the most it's just one of the most awful details I think I've ever heard in true crime. Rachel said, we voted out a judge who was giving little sentences for SA. He's gone on the first. Good. Let's stop giving out crap sentences for people who abuse women and men. Billy Wagner is awaiting trial. Yeah, it seems so. Yeah, still waiting for Billy. It says here, trial will not be held in Pike County, though, and they dismiss the possibility of the DP for Billy Wagner. I think that is just crap. I think it's just crap. I mean, you can't kill everyone, but, I'm not Dexter, I promise. All right, here we go.
The death penalty is off the table for the last person charged in the Pike County massacre. That's the decision from the judge overseeing the case of Billy Wagner. Judge Jonathan Hine ruling arguments for a capital case would further delay Wagner's trial date. He says the Wagner and Roden families have already waited more than 8 years. Wagner's defense team filing nearly 50 motions related to the death penalty. Now, prosecutors already planned on removing the death penalty from consideration because of testimony from Billy's son, Jake Wagner. Jake agreed to plead guilty to murder to avoid the death penalty. The judge wrote prosecutors took too long in Billy's case, with just 6 weeks until his trial. Now, Wagner is still due back in court next month for an evidence hearing on one final motion from his defense team. His trial starts January 6th, and we're still
Trial starts Jan 6th, so in about a week's time, we'll know more about George Billy Wagner III. Hopefully, we'll be able to start putting this particular case behind us. Betty C says, new judge giving prosecution team a hard time. Good. They have to bring a strong case with this. Wagner case is a mess. The judge is newly appointed and pushing prosecution. Probably just trying to make a name for himself. That tends to happen. Let's hope they get the justice for the family. It's one of the most horrific crime scenes I've ever heard of. You imagine finding that one, walking onto their property, which had all those trailer homes, and there's just dead body in that one. There's dead people in that one. There's more dead people in that one. There's a dead woman who just gave birth. She just had that baby like just beforehand. It's not starting in Jan. They delayed it. Oh, I thought we were going to have an interesting trial next week. Yeah, let me see what it says. That was 1 month ago. Trial out starting Jan 6th. Trial date. Hold on. Let's go to. I'll check the Fox 9 Cincinnati. What does it say? Oh, okay. It says here it had been put down for January 6th, but is expected to be delayed, though it is not officially delayed as of yet, due to a dizzying array of court filings, including one denied by Chief Justice Kennedy. They're saying, yeah, there's a whole bunch of court crap that they got to go through, whole bunch of paperwork, filings and stuff. So we'll see. That case had you hooked. I think the documentary they did, the Pike County Massacre on Oxygen, the 2-part they did on Thanksgiving last year, is one of the better documentaries on it. Has the great Joseph Scott Morgan in it. I love Joseph. I think he's amazing. One of my favorite people in true crime. Thavi says, I wonder if the judges are paid to turn the other way and allow plea deals. No, I don't. I wouldn't think so. But there may be pressure from other places, DA, voting issues, like things like that may influence certain things. Yeah, they said they don't want it in Pike County. Eric does. I haven't seen him in a little while. I hope Eric's having a great Christmas and a great New Year's. He's always been really, really kind to me, and I appreciate it. He's always been very, very, very nice to me. And yeah, I don't know. We've never done anything together. Maybe in 2025, we have to do some more crossover events with other channels. I know me and Hella were going to work on something, but I've been away. I haven't been able to talk to her recently, but maybe that'll happen in 2025 too. I know that there's a certain story that I sent her, and she was like, "What the hell?" So maybe that'll happen in 2025. We'll see. Hey BC, how are you? Here's a retired judge. Seems unhappy, very unhappy. All right. What else? What else is on our list? Look, I think we're starting to get somewhat close to the end of 2024. For me, locally, recently we've had the case out in Rye. That was a very strange case. But the one that was really hyper local to me was the death of Isla and how she was killed and the way her body was disrespected and dumped. And I think I cannot believe that happened streets from my home. I'm not even kidding. I can't tell you exactly how close, but I can tell you that uncomfortably close. Like I could have walked past it, if that makes sense. And it bothers me that her body was left in that fridge for so long to degrade, and she got moved around my area for a month, and then a resident just picked her up and put her in a trash can thinking she was a dead dog. I mean, there's no better description for the way they treated her than that. And it's one of the craziest cases I've heard of from my area this year. The judge is just from Ohio, so I know. Yes, thank you, Jojo. I appreciate it. So hold on. Yeah, Isla Bell. I think I can't believe they gave him bail. What the F? It makes me so mad. They're like, oh yeah, he's not a flight risk. Only booked to Bulgaria like the day before he was arrested. Not a flight risk though. Not at all.
He was a lover of animals and a loyal friend who hoped to one day be a marine biologist.
Isla was a beautiful, kind, honest, courageous person.
Everything about her just radiated light.
But that dream has been taken away. 53-year-old Murat Garnier from St Kilda has been charged with Isla Bell's murder, and 57-year-old Eyal Yaffe charged with assisting an offender with murder. Isla, then 19, was last seen leaving her home in Brunswick at the start of October. Police have previously said her phone went inactive about 2 days later. About 2 weeks after that, on Isla's 20th birthday, her heartbroken mother begged for her safe return.
My heart just aches.
Then police raided properties in Bentley East and Mulgrave yesterday before the horrific discovery overnight. In court documents, police allege she was murdered on October 7.
It's been a really difficult time, and the news that we've heard has been devastating.
Mr. Garniev's court appearance was over in minutes, with no details of the allegations against him before he was remanded in custody. But his lawyer told the court Mr. Garniev had gone 2 days without taking prescribed methadone, the medication used to treat opioid dependence. He'll return to court in March. Jesse Thompson, ABC News.
So we're not going to hear too much more until March now, and but you know, to have that so close to home is gruesome. Really is to have her body in a fridge moved around the area. When is the next time? We have one more to give away for people who are members. I haven't done it yet, just with the randomness of this week, but we will. New Year's Eve, we're going to give away the last one and get those done and dusted for 2024. I can tell you now what the future plans are for that. The response has been so big for it that I feel bad. I had so many people that messaged me that they were very sad that they missed out on the first 2 drawings, and some people who donated a lot of money to try and win it. And I felt very awful because I think both ones went to people that only had a couple of tickets, which was very interesting. I really would have thought it would have landed on the people that had the most chances, but I think that's just the way random luck works. I didn't rig anything. I just put all the names in the spinner thing, and that's the names they spit out. So we have one more to give away, but it is not the same design. It's this one here. I know a lot of people like the graffiti design. It's the one in the right corner right now that you can see. That's the membership one that'll be given away. I know a lot of people really, really want to get one of the graffiti designs. I think I've explained it before that it's too hard at this stage of the channel for me to open up a merchandise store. It just is, because there's not enough throughput to make it worth my while. And I know a lot of people will be mad saying, but Ping, it's not always about the money, but it sort of is with the time involved to do it all. So I still want to do something for people. So this is what we're going to do. And this is actually Mrs. Ping's idea. I'm going to make a new design every month, and once a month we're going to give away just one. So each month there'll be one more to win, and it'll have again a new different design to give away. So if you want another chance, that's your way of getting it. That'll be the way of doing it. Gayla says we could all get our own printed and send pictures to Ping. Yeah, sure, if you want. But that's the way I think is the easiest way to do it and still give people an opportunity to win one. And then each design will be brand new. So I've actually been working with a new program, and it allows me to sort of modify it a lot more and make like some really cool designs. I haven't shown them to you yet, but I have a bank of them that I've been sort of messing with. And yeah, I think that's the easiest way of doing it without putting so much pressure on me. Because like what I don't want to do is just commercialize it, if that makes sense. I don't want to just send it to some shit company who sends you some absolute piece of crap hoodie that fades after 2 washes. Like, I don't want to do that. I know a lot of creators are happy to do that. I'm not. And I'd rather give you guys an opportunity to have one, but it's high quality. And that way, at least I know whoever gets it will have something they can keep for a long time. Rather than you get something that's made on some crap blank. It's not worth anything. The stupid design will peel after you put it in the wash in warm water. I've had hoodies that have done that. So, yeah. Yeah, so I think that was her idea. She was like, it's in the top corner, in the right corner. It should be the overlay. I don't know. I see it. Can you guys see the little image in the top corner? Maybe if you're on a phone, it looks really tiny. Can I do it a different way? So it'll be one of these ones you guys will be able to pick. So it'll be one of, oh, don't do that. No, don't delete it. There we go. It'll be one of these ones. You guys can pick it. You can have a color one or you can have the black and white. But that'll be the one for the membership giveaway. So yeah, that'll be each month. It'll be at the end of the month, and we'll do it like that. It allows me to give something back to the people who help out the channel, and still people will get an opportunity to win one. And I think that's cool because they'll each be very different, because I will have designed it throughout the month, and each one will be slightly different design, different colors, you know, different stuff. But people love the graffiti style, so be cool. Yes. Let's see. Yeah, it's in the top right corner. That's all right. So yeah, that'll be from January. I got to get these 3 done and then send them out. The only reason we did 3 this time is because so many people helped out with the trip to Tasmania. I feel obligated to do so many, and to give people the maximum amount of chances to win, because there's some people who are very generous. April B says, graffiti is my favorite design. Well, I know that I think it's like any donations from like around now till the end of January will count for the January one, because that's what we did in the other one. It started in November, but I backdated it to like mid-October to give anyone earlier a chance, because I felt like that's the fair thing to do. The Commonwealth of Pink Shield, yeah. So we'll be doing, that's the membership hoodie. I love that. I love that shield. Although we need to work on some design elements of it, because when I put it in certain places, it's not quite centered. So it sort of is a little off kilter. We have to work on that. What are you talking about? Hold on, guys. Oh, no, don't do that. What are they talking? Okay. Okay. Sorry, I just got a weird message. Okay, whatever. Shut up. Shut up, Windows. Shut up. Khaliza says, I wonder if we could do one-time print. What is a one-time print? You mean do like what? To print with a what? With a cry cut? What is a cry cut? You guys will have to tell me. I don't know. Here's a printer. Okay. Yes, we could do it like that. Well, I'll talk to you after. There are some limitations that we have to talk about, because in Australia, shipping is ridiculous. I am not kidding. Shipping is bonkers here. I sent something for the wedding to Tasmania, right? Get this. So I had to get something down there. I couldn't take it on the flight, so I was worried it was going to get smashed up on the flight in the carry-on. So I sent it down, bubble wrapped it. It was a gift for the bride and groom. $58. $58 to send it from Melbourne to the suburb where we went in Tasmania. $58. That's not even international. That's just to Tasmania. That's just in our local shipping network. Like $58 is insane. So there are some limitations. We have to sort of have a talk with Reby about what we can do. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, shipping costs are interesting. I was able to bake them into the costs of the 3 we did for December. After that, that's it's something I need to work out with Reby, because the one in December we sort of lost money on, but that's fine. I'm okay with that because it was a gift to the people, like my followers and viewers. I knew that from the start going into it that I would probably lose money on it, but that's fine. But the ones we do monthly, I can't do that. Your idea will save on the postage. Interesting, but Reby, it has to be good quality blanks, and the screen printing has to be good quality. I'm not going to send it to, like, what was that place that Trish used? Springfoam or whatever. That place has the shittiest quality merchandise. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people have Web Sleuths merchandise from there, but I heard some really bad reports for it. We gave some away at some point, and I heard some people tell me that theirs had already faded, theirs had already cracked. Some of them weren't the greatest quality, so I don't want to do that. I want to make a product that is decent. Nalana says, my friend spent 100 on shipping to her son a gift for Christmas. Yeah, it's bonkers, right? Teespring, is that what it's called? Teespring? Yeah, I heard some people when we gave away merch on Web Sleuths, they only owned it for like 3 months, and they said they put it through the wash and it cracked. Or another lady said she put it through the wash and it faded, and the color faded. Like, I think she got a blue shirt or something, and the blue ended up fading out. It was almost like a white blue by the time she wore it like 3 times. I don't want to do that to people. You be my volunteer for a USA mailer. We might be able to do something. We'll work it out. I'll talk with Reby about logistics or la fish sticks, but I will talk with Reby and see what we can figure out. Gayla says my son's friend lives in the back of Beyond in Australia. We sent him something and he said even if it didn't fit, he wouldn't send it back as that would cost more than the expensive jacket. Yeah, 100%. I was lucky. One of the winners is Robbie T. Robbie T lives in, I'm not going to tell you where she lives. She lives in Australia somewhere. Anywhere, pick a place. So I'm lucky with that because Robbie lives here. I don't have to pay international shipping for that. One of them lives in America, but that's okay. Lynn D is a lovely lady. I'm happy she won one of the hoodies. I love that she got one because she's been such a great supporter over the years. All right. Should we go stop talking about this kind of crap and get back to the crimes? Why are we talking about this? I'd prefer to talk about the crimes. All right. I have sorry, this is not a 2024 case, although it is sort of. I have some weird CCTV. It actually got released today. Do you guys want to see it? You know, we talked about the one yesterday that was Chloe Mason. Chloe Mason, I did upload to Twitter and to Facebook. If you guys wanted to slow it down and listen to it or manipulate it, you can. It's on my Twitter, Nights with Ping, on my Facebook, Nights with Ping. You guys can check it out. But they released this one today. CCTV footage released after 18-year-old man stabbed in Sydney's east. They say police have released CCTV footage of 2 men they wish to speak with after an 18-year-old was stabbed outside a venue in Sydney's east. They're saying the 18-year-old man was standing with friends outside a licensed premises in Maroubra at around 11 p.m. on Sunday, December 21, when they were approached by 2 unknown men. Police allege one of the men, described as being in his 20s and wearing a face mask, stabbed the teenager. The 18-year-old stab wounds were treated at the scene and a crime scene was established. Newly released footage shows 2 men running from the area near the time of the stabbing. Let's watch the footage here. It's about a minute long. It's not super long, but we can play it a couple of times. So this dude runs away, and we get a different view of it too. This is like a wider view. It's not a great view, that one, but you can see 2 guys One dude sort of runs across the road there, and this guy's sort of like moseying down and gets into a white car. Well, they may have both got into that car, one in the driver's, one in the passenger, and then took off. Why would they just run into Maroubra and stab someone? There he is running around again. So this is brand new from the New South Wales Police. They're looking for these two men in relation to that attack. Don't know why you would do that to someone. It seems very odd. Let me stop that. No, ping. That's not the right one. Where is it? Nope. All right. Image of new Chinese stealth aircraft emerges. Oh my god, we have to watch that. No, we're not watching that. I couldn't care less. All right. So they're saying down here, they're saying police believe this man here on this still frame here could help their investigation into the 18-year-old man being stabbed last week. They say New South Wales police say one of the men is described as being aged in his 20s and of Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander appearance with a rat tail hairstyle. He is said to have been wearing a white hat, a red and navy jumper with a motif, black tracksuit pants, and white shoes. I always am worried about those people that wear red and navy jumpers with a motif. They scare me. The other man is described as being in his 20s, wearing a black jumper and shorts with a white bucket hat and white shoes, according to police. The two men were seen leaving the premises in a white vehicle. That's that white vehicle at the end of that video here. Let's go down here and I'll show you. Nope, it must be up here. There it is. So there's that white vehicle that apparently they left the premises. Let me play that back for you. There they run away like little biatches. And there's that white vehicle. They hop in that car and take off. You know, I've always thought of people that have to fight in groups as the ultimate cowards. You are the most ultimate coward if you need your boys with you or you need a bro with you to take on someone. You're no alpha male. You are literally a coward because you can't do it on your own. You're the lowest of the low. I always hated those people growing up that, you know, they're only tough when they're in a group. They're only tough when they had their boys with them. The real tough people are the people that can stand and defend themselves on their own. They're the people who are tough. Khaliza said, strange outfit. Sounds like possibly, you know, it's sort of a fashion thing in Sydney. I've seen it before. I've seen it before. Rachel says, strange. I wonder if it was a robbery or someone they knew. It could have been targeted. They didn't say the word of the day, targeted with policing. Everything's targeted. Like it somehow makes it better. Hey, your loved one was killed, but it was targeted. It's fine. I don't think it makes the family feel any better. Let's see. I don't see that word listed here. Normally, if it's something like, you know, they believe the attacker was known to them or whatever. Oh, some girl in the top. Yeah, I don't see that listed here. New South Wales police are urging anyone with information, CCTV or dashcam footage to contact Maroubra Police Station or contact Crime Stoppers on 1-800-333-000. Rory Cat, if you don't get down on, I swear to God, girl. I swear to cat. I swear to cat. The other man is described as... Oh, she's down. Hey, Rory. The other man is described as being in his 20s and wearing a black jumper and shorts with a white bucket hat and white shoes. Yeah, he's definitely... The style police may be after him. They're saying the 18-year-old seemed to be okay. His wounds were treated at the scene and a crime scene was established. But yeah, nothing here saying anything like, you know, it was targeted or he knew it. No, so it says here, they were approached by two unknown men. So not targeted. I don't think they knew them. That's a pretty weird thing to do to someone. Just attack someone and knifed them. Gang related, maybe. Well, if she didn't have a top on, we wouldn't be playing it on this channel. No, we did. No, Danny, we did. No, we did an update for that. They found him. It was like a couple of months ago. They actually found that kid. No. They found him. I can show that to you. Maybe you missed that show, but they he's Elijah Gumbus. They did actually find him. Yeah. So there wasn't much of an update about it, but the Center for Missing and Exploit. Look, I'll just go to Missing in Arizona and I'll show you. But they actually did an update here a few months ago. When was this? 19th of October. As you can see, Elijah had been located safe. So they did actually locate him. I know we didn't hear too much more after that, but yeah. Yeah, you're not going to, because he's a juvenile. You're not going to hear anything. Khaliza said, yeah, it could be a TikTok prank gone wrong. Could be. It was a football night. A football night? Little Gangster Danier called it. He did say that. Mr. Danier did call that. Let's see. Elijah. He did say that he thought he might be into the gangs. He was saying that. Now that's odd. It came up as like 4 days ago, but I was like, not 4 days ago. Actually, one of the cases we didn't talk about, I mean, there's Sebastian Rogers, there's Riley. Riley was one that in Tennessee that, fell into the river. I think one of the other big ones this year that we failed to mention was Elijah Vu. Elijah Vu is one we spent hours covering. Came to a very sad end. I don't think any of us expected him to be found alive. Even very early on, when the information came out in press conferences, it seemed like he had been killed. It seemed like a false report of him going missing. It never seemed like a legitimate lost child situation. And then we got word in October. Was it October? A couple of months ago, that they actually found his remains at a property owner clearing their property for the hunting season or something. Hunting season? Yeah. They actually found his remains not too far away from the search area. And yeah, that case is so sad, and the details coming out of it really detail you how insidious some child abuse can be. And I think we only know like a little bit right now, and when we finally get to trial, I think some of the details that are going to come out about Elijah Vu and his final days with his mother's boyfriend, I think it's going to be a really hard listen. I really do. I don't think it's going to be easy for any of us to have to listen to. We went through the court documents at one point. They released this massive trove of documents after Katrina Bauer and Jesse Vang were charged over the death of Elijah Vu, and we ended up finding. We ended up reading those documents. If I can find them again quickly, Elijah Vu. If I can find them very quickly, I will bring them up. Yeah. There was some weird things on this. Like you sort of heard the things that Jesse made him do. You heard Katrina being supportive and approving of what Jesse was doing to Elijah, and she was all playing concerned mum, but at the same time allowing and condoning the abuse to Elijah. And you could, she's like, oh, my little sweetheart, he's so tired. Yeah, because he's been abused all day. Dude's been standing on his tippy toes for like 8 hours saying, No more bad boy or whatever. Like ridiculous. He's tired because he's exhausted. They said Katrina Bauer tried to hide from law enforcement messages she had sent to Jesse Vang. They say later police extracted data from both Vang and Bauer's phones, found messages sent to Vang by her during Vang's interview with police while she was on speakerphone. According to the complaint, during that interview, she sent the following messages: stop, don't say too much, no, stop, you let him, attorney K. So she was telling him to get an attorney. Bauer said she sent those messages because she felt like the police were trying to entrap Vang for drinking and taking medication while watching Elijah. I don't think that's what they were trying to do. I think they were trying to pin the murder of your child on him. That's what they were trying to do. Police also extracted data from Facebook Messenger on deleted or unsent messages from Bauer to Vang after he called 911 to report Elijah missing. According to the complaint, the following messages were sent by her around 10:59 a.m. on February 20, and she says, "Say you guys were taking a nap and he left. Jesse, listen, the way you word things is very important. I need you to call me. Say this is your guys' normal sleeping schedule, and he never opened the door before. Don't say anything about the child lock." Elijah Vu's DNA was found on a suitcase and on a blanket. They said surveillance video from St. Vincent's de Paul and Two Rivers and police squad cars showed Vang driving that Nissan Altima that they were looking for, that police found he had borrowed from a neighbor, and dropping off a dark-colored suitcase in front of the donation door, which they believe had Elijah's body in it. They DNA tested it and found saliva. So, yeah, there you go. Very sad case. Very sad. Let's see. April B says, I don't think I'll be able to listen to it. I heard some new info about Harmony Montgomery. And yeah, Harmony's case is very, very sad too. I do too. I hope Jesse Vang, he acts a tough guy, and I wonder how tough he is in jail when people try to attack him. Danny got some street cred. He does. Him and his giant dog. I know it's you and your giant dog. Danny's got some street cred. You and your giant dog may have some inside sources with the gangs. Yeah, so very sad. Elijah Vu. And then really the one cold case that has endured for 2024, it's Sebastian. There is no other real case that I can think of that has stayed in the public consciousness since February. That it's Sebastian. We still don't know where he is. We still don't understand fully what occurred or what made him disappear. And I hope in 2025 we get answers to where he is. In a couple of months, it'll be 1 year since he was reported missing. And you have to think he's not alive. There's no way. Do you guys remember the first release that went out about Sebastian? What did it say? It said he may have trouble finding his way back home. Do you think this kid is traversing the countryside like a hobo in the 1940s film with a freaking, stick and a handkerchief, running on the railways around America? No, not a chance. They said this kid can't even find his way home properly. They may not be able to, because he's built on routine and he only knows, what he's been shown many times. Like he lives in his routine. April B says Sebastian is sad too. He's been exploited so much. It has, and it's why I don't report in it, because I don't want to add to it. When we get new news or new updates, I will tell you. But I'm not going to sit here and buy into the drama. It's not worth it. It's not worth it for anyone, and yet alone for Sebastian. They say, yeah, I believe he is deceased. Me too. I believe. My personal opinion is that he died sometime around the time he was reported missing, either before or shortly after. I don't know, but don't think he was alive, too much after that. Rachel says, I don't believe Sebastian is still with us. I don't either. I mean, I'm happy to be proven wrong. If he pops out of the woodwork tomorrow and someone's like, oh my God, he's been found in friggin' like Texas, I'd be like, oh my God, thank the world. Thank the Lord. Thank Jesus. Thank the Pokemon. Thank Pikachu. I'd be very happy. But right now, with what we know, I just don't think a kid like that could go missing for almost 12 months and make no sign or put up a flare and be like, I'm here. Come help me. Like, I think someone would have seen him, right? Someone would have seen this kid. His case has been publicized so deeply across America, true crime, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, everywhere. He's so recognizable to the point someone thought they saw him and it was another kid who looks very similar to Sebastian. They ruled it out. It isn't him, but that's what I mean. If someone had seen him out there, it would have been called into police. Rachel said, I think we all held out hope. Yes, I held out hope for the first few weeks thinking, look, got to keep an open mind. Maybe he really did run off. Maybe home life was bad. Maybe he wanted to get away for some reason. But as time has filtered on, I don't believe he's with us anymore. I'd love to be proven wrong because I'd love to see that he's alive, but just I don't believe so. Rachel said, I think, yeah. Khalid said, in my mum, his mum locked him out as punishment, freaked out when she went to let him back inside and he was gone. Yeah, it's an interesting, whatever you'd call it. I'm running out of words. Succumb to the elements. I think that's an interesting idea. How far do you think he could have got from that home? I think that's a question. If you're watching on the replay, put it in the comments. How far do you think he could have got? A mile? 10 miles? To a different state? Could he got out of the county? Could he have got to Kentucky? Like, tell me, how far do you think he could have got? Because there was an autistic kid in Arizona who made it to New Mexico. So I'm always like, I never want to put bets on children who seem to have issues and where they can get to, because that kid in friggin' Arizona made it all the way to New Mexico. So Gayla says, I must be skeptical as I didn't have hope. I mean, I thought maybe the search might have found him, but, it's an interesting theory. I think that there's a lot. I think there's been some very smart people who are very good with body language on YouTube who have picked up on some very interesting clues. Not saying it's a perfect science, but they've picked up on some interesting clues within the countless interviews some of these people involved have done. Not by himself, no. I think, and then I would say, look how extensive the search was. I know a lot of people want to fight me on this. I know Penguin is often like, they didn't search that hard, but I think they did, and I think they searched very severely, especially within the 10-mile radius. I just think if he was there, they may have found him. He could have gone a few miles, but lots of woods, foliage, and water around. Often bodies are found close to where they disappear. Didn't they check the pond that was on the back of the property? There's a property on the back of his parents' home that has like a dam, like a dam or a lake. They searched that like 3 times, right? Because they thought that's the most logical place where he might be, and they didn't find anything. So maybe if there's another water source around, being that it's the country in Tennessee, there probably is. If you've ever looked at a map of Tennessee, there's bloody water everywhere. It's like ponds here. There's another one there. There's a giant river down the road. If you go down the road from Sebastian's home, there's a freaking giant river. So, like a runoff pond. Yeah, it's not that big, but they searched it a few times. Hopefully in 2025, we will find out more about what happened to Sebastian Rogers. I hope so, because just like Elijah, he deserves justice as well. Kaliza says, many times there are thorough searches and remains. Yeah, that's true. It was, James. That's what I think. It was a massive search. They threw everything they had at it. Not saying that you can search over here, and like the example I'll give you is in New Zealand, that missing real estate lady. They searched that park several times, never found her. Went back, checked this tiny little corner that they missed a few times. Bang, she was there. They found her remains, and that took a year for them to find her. So I get it. It's not always a perfect science of ground searches and air searches, but Rachel said I saw videos of the initial search and there was a ton of support on the ground in the air. Yeah, I've got a few of the maps. I've got a few. I can't tell you where I got them. Someone was very kind enough to send them to me, but I have some of the search data, and it was extensive, the work they did. But again, they put millions of dollars into finding that real estate worker in New Zealand, and took 4 times or something to search that park. So if you guys remember that was Yanfi Bayo in New Zealand. She was a real estate agent who had been murdered by a 53-year-old Chinese national. It took a long time to find her body, like a long time. Where is it? Yeah, New Zealand police. So she went missing in 2023. It took them until the 30th of July 2024 to end up finding her at a park where they had searched several times previously. They just went to a slightly different area where, yeah, it was some other place, and they found her. So, it's very interesting. Here, see, the area had been previously searched, and new information led us back there to search a specific location of interest. And they say up here, while searching private farmland in Green Park area this morning, a shallow grave was discovered along the tree line at a place that they had searched already many times. So that 17-year-old that went missing from Virginia. 17-year-old. Did we do that case? A 17-year-old from Virginia? I mean, I did over 400 shows this year. I think we did close to 450 shows this year. We did maybe 5,000 cases within this 12-month period. You would have to be more specific. 17-year-old from Virginia. Oh, Mitchell Leahy was reported missing out of Henrico County, was found safe on Thursday. Okay, I don't know if we covered this, but I'll show it to you. By the way, one of the cases, there's so many. I reckon we need to do a part 2. Do you guys want to do a part 2 tomorrow? And we'll talk about more cases, because I have another 50 in my head that we could talk about, including the Tennessee girl that we followed. Hold on. No, that's not it. I'll find it tomorrow, but should we do another one tomorrow? But there was that girl who was shot in not far from where Sebastian Rogers lived, actually. And we covered her case a ton when it happened as well back in July. I think we need to do a part 2 tomorrow. Let me bring you this update for Mitchell Leahy. And I'll do this. Will be the last one. Then we'll get out of here, because we've cut into Trisha's time by like an hour. I'm sorry. I found safely. Yeah, let's go to CBS, Florida, someplace. WTVR.
A Hanover County teenager who has been missing for nearly a week has been found safe. Virginia State Police issued a Cody alert for 17-year-old Mitchell Leahy last Friday after his family reported the high school senior ran away. Police say he was found Thursday in Collier County, Florida, south of Fort Myers. This is a developing story, and of course, we'll update you with more information.
There you go. So yeah, definitely a part 2. I think we should do a part 2 tomorrow. We have so many. We have many stories to catch up on. What is it? Was it the girl that went for a walk with a neighbor? No, it was. I don't know why I can't remember her name now. I'm having a weird mental blank. We did so much on her case. She had had a fight with her dad, I think about selling her car or something, and then she'd run off with a guy that she was dating or used to date. 15 photo. They found her with a gunshot wound to her head. It was a wild case. We even had people who were involved in it, or there was a couple of people, one who they believe who was involved in the crime, posting on Reddit, and then there was another person who wasn't involved and was making up stuff online. They ended up being charged in relation to it. Keeps giving me the wrong case. Keeps telling me about Emma Walker, but that's not the case that I'm talking about. Ah, yeah, it was Hendersonville. Here we go. Here we go. This is it. Now I found it. We'll do this one tomorrow. Yeah, it's Trinity Bostic. That's it. I was in close conversations with someone who was quite interested in me following this case, and I haven't given up on Trinity's case. It's just that a lot of the court documents have been sealed. We requested them and got denied. So we got denied, saying it's still an active investigation and there's still work being done on it, and it hasn't gone to trial yet. So we were denied documents in this particular case that we tried to get, and they told us as well that it's because it involves juveniles, and the guy that committed it was under 18 at the time, but they charged him as an adult. And it's like, you can't play it both ways. You can't be like, he's a juvenile and then charge him as an adult, and then when people request documents, say you can't have them because he's a juvenile. It's like, well, you charge him as an adult. What is he, an adult or is he a child? Which one do you want? Can't play these games. Anyway, they're just trying to play games so we can't get the documents, but we tried a couple of times to grab documents for Trinity Bostic. If anyone has more information about Trinity and would like to make sure it's aired correctly, email me sundaywithping@gmail.com. I want to know more. I hope I typed my email right. Let's see. No. Oh, no, that's right. That's all right. Just put the @ sign where the, this sign is. My keyboard, for some reason, set itself to UK mode, and now my @ sign is in a weird location. It's in a strange place where it shouldn't be. It's normally above the number 2, but it's actually somewhere else on my keyboard. So I've got to change it to the USA or Australian keyboard layout. But that's my email. You know how to do it. Contact me if you have any information about Trinity Bostic. Gayla says, oh, he had a new girlfriend and he took her over state lines. Yeah, it was very, very strange. Former foster kid skills. Yeah. As a former foster kid as well, I can tell you. The cat's effing with my tech. The cat's sick at the moment. Muffin's off. Where is he? Is he here? Oh, is he in the blinds? He's lying in the blinds. Poor cat. He's so like congested. He's like lying there with his little mouth open. He's like, I can't breathe out my nose. Poor cat. His sister's okay. His sister got through it, and she's now pretty healthy. She's got a little tiny bit of a sneeze left, but she's 95% over it. It's just poor Muff. He's not sneezing on my keyboard anymore, but he was earlier today. We're like, Muffin, yuck. Oh, you got gunk everywhere. But look, we'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back. This was a long show. This was longer than I was planning to do, but that's okay. I like that. By the way, I at the end of each show each night, I look over here and I talk to Mrs. Ping and I say, Mrs. Ping, did we get any donations tonight that I need to thank people for? For like the last 3 nights, she's like, nah, we didn't get anything. Like, you don't have anyone to thank. You can end the show. And then I log into my PayPal last night and there was like 5 donations there, and I was like, oh my god, I feel so terrible. So I want to thank these people who sent stuff around New Year's Eve. No, around Christmas Day. No, Christmas Eve. Vicky K, Kim F, Jay Z, not the Jay Z the rapper. I'm just going to call you Jay Z, but I think that's Woman of Steel, and Rachel. Thank you very much to all 4 of you. Thank you for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. And tonight we had a super chat from my friend Moon Shadow. Thank you very much. It does help out. I appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow for a part 2. And yeah, we got more cases. We'll do more on Trinity Bostic tomorrow night. Kaliza says, "Poor Muffin. Hope he feels better soon." I hope so too. Poor Bobby. He's such a tough boy until he gets sick. He's like all men. He acts like the sickness is much worse than when the girl had it. Rory just sat there and toughed it out. Muffin's got. He's like, I'm all sick. I'm dying. I must be dying. You guys have to treat me like I'm a baby. Yeah. No, he's all right. He's all right. If he was worse, we would take him to the vet. If he displayed signs that he was decreasing or something, we would take him to our vet around the corner. Rachel said maybe we can talk about upcoming cases as well. We can do something like that. He hasn't been yet, because Rory was able to get over it and she seemed fine. We haven't taken him as of yet, but if he continues to display like worse symptoms, we'll take him tomorrow. We just wanted to give him another 24 hours. It's woman flu. Yeah. So we just want to give him another 24 hours, see if he feels better tomorrow. Because our vet is stupid expensive. Like we just paid $1,500 for Rory's surgery. Like we are tapped out. So I mean, I have some money in case he gets sick, but it's like, yeah, I don't really want to do it unless I have to. So we'll keep an eye on him. He's okay. He's eating. He's drinking. He's not too bad. He's not hot. Like I test him, he's not hot. He's just uncomfortable with the congestion. But if he gets any worse, I'll take him tomorrow. So we'll see. But yeah, our vet's closed. The vet that we go to is not open for another week. So, but there is another vet nearby, but it's going to be a pain in the bum because he's not a client there. So we're gonna have to, do it. If you got pets, you know what the issue is. If you go to a different vet, that's not your normal vet. By the way, do you think it's irresponsible that a vet closed down for 2 weeks over Christmas? 2 weeks, not like a week or 5 days or something like that. 2 weeks, a month, like half a month. They just closed. They got cats that they just had surgery and stuff, and they're like, "Oh yeah, see you January 6th, bye." Like it's crazy. Rachel says, as long as he's eating and drinking, it's probably best not to stress him with a visit. Yeah, he's hyper anxious, and getting him to the vet in the carrier is literally like one of the most traumatic experiences you could ever do to him. He runs, he hides, he cries, he pees himself. He's not good. He does not like the carrier, and he does not like leaving the house. Yeah, it's really a last resort because it's so stressful. Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. Yeah, 2 weeks. They're just like, see ya, bye, we'll see you. Snapcrackle Bob says, hey y'all, hey. The other vet across the road, they only closed Christmas Day and New Year's Day. That's it. Every other day they've been open. Oh, our vet doesn't do that. Although that'd be good if we could find a vet that would do that. Oh, really? Your medical center closed for 2 weeks over Christmas? I think some of these industries, like I agree, everyone needs a break over Christmas. Everyone, everyone, doesn't matter what industry you're in, you deserve some time off. But can't you get people to fill in that want to work? Can't you have some people like after a week and reopen? Look up mobile vets. I'll have to look it up. I'm not sure if it's a thing here or like a common thing here. I heard one of our friends said that they had one, but I'll have to look it up. Anyway, it doesn't matter because if a vet came here, he'd hide under the bed and you'd never get him out. So the vet would be like, yes, your bed seems fine. I don't believe it has any like, like bad symptoms, but you may need to change the sheets at some point. But I actually came here for a cat. I didn't come here to diagnose your bed. Locums to cover if needed. What is locums? Oh, it was taken over by a corporate company. Yeah, Snapcrackle Pop, I agree. Your hubby's cardiologist isn't back until the 1st of the year. Isn't it crazy? I mean, I just think it's irresponsible by the vet to close for that long. Like, they could have opened up in between, like, Christmas and New Year's just to give, like, a few days to their clients to say, like, if there's something wrong, come in. Like, Rory had surgery a day before they closed. Like, what if something had went wrong in her recovery? They just don't care. I just think it's ridiculous. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow. And yeah, we'll do part 2. We've got so many other cases. We've forgotten so many. Oh, interesting. Okay. Maybe it's not a thing here. I've not heard of that, but okay. All right. Peace out. Bye. Bye-bye. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night. See you later. Bye.